You know that feeling, right? Your Wi-Fi just drops for no good reason, or your car key fob suddenly refuses to work, or maybe your smart speaker decides to just ignore you. It's one of those super common, super annoying frustrations of living in a high-tech world. Well, today we're going to figure out what's really going on. We're going to uncover the invisible forces that are making your tech fail. Now, just so you know where we're getting all this great info, this is part 3 of a big 10-part series. It's all based on the super detailed report called An Introduction to Radio Frequency Interference, or RFI, Electromagnetic Interference, or EMI, and Space Weather for Non-Technical People. It's from a group called the RFI Detectives, who are part of Virtualization Options LLC. And today, we're digging into their findings to get to the bottom of all this. So yeah, let's get our detective hats on. We're going to use what they've uncovered to crack the case of why our super connected world sometimes feels, well, completely disconnected. I mean, it really all boils down to this one question, doesn't it? You've done everything right. The thing is plugged in, it's turned on, it should be working. But nothing. So what is actually going on here?
And the clues? They're everywhere, right in your own home. You know, like when your Wi-Fi slows to an absolute crawl the second somebody turns on the microwave. Or maybe you've noticed your fancy new LED lights make your smart speaker buzz a little. Trust me, these aren't just random glitches. They're symptoms of an invisible battle that's happening all around us, all the time.
Okay, so here's our game plan for this little investigation. We're going to look at our daily tech mysteries, then meet the usual suspects, RFI and EMI. Then we'll get into the background noise of everything, which is the key. We'll see why some small signals get lost, and finally, we'll talk about living in this very, very crowded electronic world. All right, first things first, let's unmask our invisible culprits. Okay, so we're dealing with two main troublemakers here, EMI and RFI. Think of EMI, that's electromagnetic interference, as the big, broad category for any kind of electrical disturbance. You know, like when a powerful vacuum cleaner makes the lights flicker, that's EMI. Now, RFI, radio frequency interference, is a specific kind of EMI. It's the one that messes with all our wireless stuff, like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, you name it. So, here's the key takeaway. All RFI is EMI, but not all EMI is RFI. Simple as that. So how do these troublemakers get around? Well, they've got two main methods. First, there's conducted EMI, which travels through actual physical wires. Yeah, like that vacuum cleaner cord. But then there's radiated EMI, which travels invisibly, right through the air. And that's where RFI lives. That's the one causing all our wireless headaches. Okay, now for the big one. This is the key that unlocks the whole mystery. There is one single concept that, once you get it, makes all these random tech problems suddenly make perfect sense. And it's called the noise floor. And to really get this, the RFI Detectives report uses a fantastic analogy. Just imagine you're sitting in a dead quiet library. The background noise is basically zero. A friend could whisper to you from 20 feet away and you'd hear every single word, easy. But now, take that same conversation and drop it into the middle of a loud rock concert. The background noise is just overwhelming, right? Your friend could be screaming in your ear from 5 feet away, and you might not catch a single word. Their voice is just completely lost in all that noise. And it's exactly the same with electronics. That background noise changes everything. So that rock concert in our analogy, that is the noise floor. It's just the baseline level of all the stray electromagnetic energy floating around you. And here's the rule. For any of your devices to work, its signal has got to be stronger. It has to be louder than all that background noise. This difference between the signal you want and the noise you don't is what engineers call the signal-to-noise ratio, or SNR. All you need to know is that your device's signal needs to be way taller than the noise floor. If that background noise starts to rise up and that gap gets too small, boom, communication fails. It really is that simple. So, okay, this explains why things fail, but why are some gadgets so much more sensitive than others? Well, it all comes down to a competition of power. I mean, just look at the difference here. Your Wi-Fi router is basically shouting, broadcasting at around 100 milliwatts. Your little car key fob? That's whispering at maybe 1 milliwatt. But a GPS signal? After traveling thousands of miles from space, we're talking a signal so faint it's almost impossible to imagine. So yeah, it's pretty clear that not all signals are created equal. Let's go back to an analogy. Think of it like a height competition. Your powerful Wi-Fi signal is a really tall person. Your weak little key fob signal, that's a really short person. And that noise floor we talked about, think of that as water rising all around them.
Okay, so check this out. When the noise floor, the water level, is low, everything's great. You can see both the tall Wi-Fi person and the short key fob person, no problem. But then you start turning on other devices, right? The noise floor starts to rise, and suddenly that weak little key fob signal is completely submerged. It's drowned out by the noise, totally invisible. But the powerful Wi-Fi signal, its head is still way above the water, working perfectly fine. This is exactly why your key fob might not work in a noisy parking garage, but your phone can still grab a Wi-Fi signal.
Which brings us right back home. Because what is a modern home really? It's basically its own tiny, super crowded, and really noisy electromagnetic ecosystem.
So what's raising that water level in your house? Well, pretty much everything. Your microwave oven, for sure. Those cheap LED light bulbs you bought? Yup. Dimmer switches? Big time. But it's also stuff you'd never suspect, like USB 3.0 cables or even baby monitors. Literally, every device you plug in adds a little bit more noise, a little more chaos into the air, and altogether, they raise that noise floor for everything else.
And here's the really critical thing to understand. This noise floor isn't some static fixed number. It's constantly changing. It goes up and down all day long. And every single time we add a new smart plug, a new speaker, a new anything, that average level just keeps trending up year after year. So that kind of leaves us with one last big question. We live in a world that is only going to get electronically noisier. There's no doubt about that. So as that background hum of the world keeps getting louder, what's going to be the first thing to fall silent? Is it going to be those super faint but totally essential signals like GPS? Or maybe all those tiny, low-power smart sensors that we're literally building our entire future on? It's definitely something to think about.